We're going to have a little fun today, and the basis for this video is going to be if ChatGPT, the super awesome AI that everybody's raving about and talking about, what if they were to actually pick our groups for the launch on the TLP? What would be the best 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 box that it would pick? And we're just going to have a conversation with it and see how much ChatGPT knows about Everquest. I'm assuming that since it was limited to data from up to 2021, that it doesn't have any of my newest stuff, or maybe none of my stuff at all. So I don't know what type of information it has, but let's just have a little fun here. Let's start off very basically. Alright, so it's familiar with EverQuest 1. How long have you played EverQuest 1 for? Just make sure it's not a real person here. Yep, the canned response AI language model. Don't have personal experience to play games like EverQuest 1 myself. So it cuts off in September 2021 is what we learned there. Do you have any information on the EverQuest class? Oh, look at that. But we don't actually want to seal that, so we'll just stop generating. So it does know what the classes are. Do you know what a TLP is for EverQuest 1? So it knows time lock progression servers exist. So it starts with the original EverQuest content, yada yada yada. There is a new TLP launching soon, and I want your help in determining, oh shit, I can't even spell, what classes I should play if I were to play more than one at a time. It's a good idea to consider a combination that provides versatility and covers various roles within a group. So tank plus hero, tank plus crowd control, tank plus damage dealer. Support looks like it's just trying to do a combination, so like a 2-box. If I were going to solo on a new TLP, what class should I play? Rank the top 5 classes. Necro, no surprise there. Magician, no surprise. Shadow Knight, not bad. Druids with, let's see. The Druids, I guess, I don't know what you do with them. Maybe some quad cutting or something like that. I'm surprised that made number 4. Necromancer, Magician are quite obvious. Shadow Knight's okay too. The Enchanter, I guess you could charm level. Do you know what multi-boxing means? Single player controlling multiple game characters simultaneously in an online multiplayer game. Can be done for various reasons, including the desire to tackle more challenging content with a coordinated group of characters controlled by a single player, or to efficiently farm resources or complete tasks that would be more time consuming with a single character. That's not too bad. Players who multi-box often set up macros or scripts to automate certain actions. Those fucking cheaters. I'm going to play 2 characters. There's at a time. What 2 characters? You can spell should I play to level up to 50 in the original content? Oh my goodness. So tank plus hero, went with warrior cleric. Tank plus damage, Shadow Knight wizard. That's awful. Magician and Tanner. Okay, give me the top 5 best combo classes for leveling up to 50 by myself. Well, 2 box. Well, let's say, playing 2 characters myself. Mage plus Enchanter as number 1. So Pet as the tank, offensive spells for damage, Enchanter will be crowd control. That's not bad, I guess. We got Necromancer plus a Shaman, that's a little bit weird. But you're gonna use the Shaman for what, healing, and I guess you could dual dot. And then Beast Lord, which won't be out, and maybe it wasn't very specific, but Beast Lord and Bard is actually weird. Shadow Knight plus Cleric isn't too bad, and Ranger Druid is just awkward. What 2 characters would you play in the original EverQuest on a TLP 2 level? Yeah, that's nice. Oh, here we go. Number 1 that it would play. So it gave me 5 recommendations, but when I asked it what it would play, it tells me it doesn't have personal preferences. And then all of a sudden it's telling me that its number 1 pick would be a Shadow Knight plus Shaman, which we know is the best duel pretty much in the game for almost forever. And then the Mage Enchanter, which is actually pretty interesting. Let's try this again for the 3-box. What are the best 3-box combinations if on a TLP and Everquest TLP with original content? Let's see, on Everquest TLP on a new Everquest TLP with only original content, you get to level 50 if I am playing all 3 characters myself. Plan to play 3 characters. Strong box combination help you. Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter. That one is basically not gonna be the fastest, but probably the most efficient, because you can pretty much do everything and you're setting yourself up for pretty much the core of any group. Shadow Knight, Wizard, Bard, that's awful. And then the third pick, it was Magician, Shaman, Druid, which is that's crazy. So let's switch it around. Best 3-box combinations to level to 50 as fast as possible with the least amount of deaths on a new TLP. Alright, now let's see what it says. Shadow Knight, Cleric, Wizard. Okay. Mage, Shaman, Enchanter. I don't know. Warrior, Beast Lord, Bard. Beast Lords aren't available in the original Everquest. Can you give me your top 3 combinations for the original Everquest on a new TLP? Yeah, that's right, your oversight. Here we are, Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter again. Shadow Knight, Wizard, Bard, which is weird. Mage, Shaman, Druid. It seems to like some of those weird combinations, and maybe they're not weird, I've just never played them. I've always been more of like a Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter type person. I don't know, Shadow Knight, you think that maybe Shadow Knight like Shaman Bard or Shadow Knight Shaman Wizard? That's still kind of awkward. And would this change if you could play multiple of the same class? In mind, you don't have to choose multiple of the same class if it is non-efficient. What are the top 5 3-box combinations that you can think of? So, Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter again for number 1, Shadow Knight, Wizard, Bard. And here comes some extra options. I asked for 5: Paladin, Shadow Knight, and Cleric. Okay, this thing's on drugs. Wizard, Magician, Bard. That's not god awful, because the Magician pet could tank, the Wizard could do some damage, and you got Bard for mana regen and some CC and stuff, but Jesus. I don't think you have any idea what you're talking about. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do have more specific questions. What's the best 4-box combination for a player on a new TLP that releases with only original Everquest content and all 4 characters are played by the same person? Additionally, if it makes sense to have more than one of the same class, feel free to list. Give me your top 5 suggestions. It says here. Number 1, Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard. It's not awful. Shadow Knight, Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter. I don't think it knows what that Shadow Knight and Paladin are kind of redundant. Warrior, Cleric, Wizard, Bard. It's not too bad. Magician, Shaman, Enchanter, Wizard. Why? I mean, that would probably work better than number 3. Shadow Knight, Wizard, Bard, Druid. I really like Druid, so I probably will play one on the Oakland release. I have them in every group just because I like to have my Druid through the first set of characters I run so that they can power level the rest. However, they cannot heal efficiently at all. And I don't think that the Bard can maybe debuff or slow enough for the Shadow Knight to tank. That would just be a weird setup there for number 5. Druids just lack so much healing compared to Clerics. It just doesn't make sense to have a Druid in the healing position. So maybe with the Bard slowing and the Shadow Knight taps and tanking and Druid healing, that works. But that's not something I would actually choose. Okay, same criteria, but 5-box combinations played by a single player in original Everquest on a new TLP. Top 5 combinations. Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard. That's decent. Shadow Knight, Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard. So obviously this thing is just kind of dumb. For 3, you picked 2 tanks. Please never put 2 tanks in the same group again. And then remake these suggestions with some type of tank support, slower, and healer in each group combination. Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Shaman. Oh, now they have 2 slowers, basically. Jesus Christ. You like the Warrior that much that you seem to consider it the best tank in EverQuest on the TLP. What do you mean if it's seen that way? You picked it in almost every fucking setup. Oh yeah, now it depends on playstyle, so this thing must have playstyle. You should know what Project 99 is. Do you know what P99 is? Oh, you do? Okay. So using the same criteria above for group selection, what's the best 5-box combo for a player playing all 5? And I don't think it quite understands when I say 5-box combo, so that's why I'm typing in for someone playing all 5 or playing all the characters on B99. All right. Oh, Shadow Knight, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard. That's not bad. Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Druid. I actually have a group on Mischief that resembles this. Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard. But the Wizard and Druid are usually split, so I usually have a Porter in each group. But that's scary, because I actually play that inefficiently. Number 3, Warrior, Cleric, Wizard, Bard, Enchanter. Not bad. Shadow Knight, Mage, Cleric, Wizard, Bard. Like how it's getting some Bard action in here. Shadow Knight, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard. It hasn't really suggested the Shamans that much. Let's see. Did you know Shamans are like one of the best buff, debuff, and slow classes in the game? How come you aren't recommending a Shaman very often? Oh, is it gonna be some more? Oh, there, put a Shaman, a Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter. See, I don't like the Enchanter Shaman in there like that, though. That works up to, like, maybe Planes of Power, because you can actually just charm with the Enchanter, and then that would be your damage. But otherwise, you would never really play with those 2 in the same group like that. Unless you're me, because I have 13 characters, sometimes 15, so I have pretty much everything, but I don't know about that. Let's go for the finale here. Same criteria above. What's the best? What's the top 5 6-box combo on P99 versus the top 5 6-box combo for a new EverQuest TLP starting in the original game? P99, Shadow Knight, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Shaman. Just hate putting wizards in there like that, because they seem to run on mana. Number 2, Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Druid. 3, Warrior, Cleric, Wizard, Bard, Enchanter, Druid. Oh, starting to do the next combos. Number 4, Shadow Knight, Magician, Cleric, Wizard, Bard, Druid. Number 5, Shadow Knight, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Necromancer, Druid. That's funky. Going on to a new TLP. Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, which that's pretty core. Wizard, Bard, Shaman. I mean, that would technically work. Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Druid. Warrior, Cleric, Wizard, Bard, Enchanter, Druid. He really wants to put the Druid in there. Look at it. Druid's in like almost every fucking one except the top one. Can you make top 3 suggestions for each again, but do not put a Druid in any group? See what happens when we try to take the Druid out. So here we go. P99 top 3 box combinations. Shadow Knight, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Shaman. Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Necro. I just don't know if I could ever put a Necro in a 6-box group like that. I played a Necro for a little while in Mischief, but it seems like with how overpowered the melee are, that stuff dies before the Necro dots really actually kick in. The 3rd suggestion it had was Warrior, Cleric, Wizard, Bard, Enchanter, Magician. And then on to EverQuest TLP, Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Shaman. But I do really like the Warrior, Cleric, Shaman, or Enchanter for the first 3 for sure. I think Bard would probably be my 4th. you'd have to for sure, and 6-boxing makes it sometimes rough, but you'd have to for sure be using charm DPS. And if you're going to do that, you might as well just add a second enchanter and have dual charm DPS, or maybe a melee character here like a monk. Number 2 is Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Necro. Definitely, like I said, I can't put Necros in, so I'm actually going to give me the top 2 six-box suggestions for each without any Necromancers or Druids in the group. And do not put a Shaman and an Enchanter or an Enchanter and a Bard in the same group. See what it does there. Alright, Project 99. Shadow Knight, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Magician, Bard. That's pretty intense. Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Rogue. And then on to new TLP, Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Magician, Bard. And then Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Rogue. Did it actually just kick Shamans all the way out? Redo these suggestions, but use a Shaman instead of an Enchanter if you're doing it to have a slower in the group. Probably would just put the Shaman in place every single one now. Shadow Knight, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, you see. And I just told it before, like, this is the problem. I told it not to put an Enchanter and a Shaman in the damn group together. Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Mage, Shaman. I think that needs a Bard. And Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Rogue utility. Okay. If I weren't multi-boxing and I had real players in my group, what would the top 2 6-box suggestions, not 6, top 2 six character groups be on each server? Oh, Jesus Christ, give me a lecture. Okay, Project 99, Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Shaman. Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Rogue. Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Shaman. Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, Wizard, Bard, Rogue. Remake these groups and put 3 damage dealers in each group, and you can make them all the same class if they are the best option. Okay? At least 3 DPS are what it considers 3 DPS. So Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, 3 Wizards. Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter, 3 Magicians. Ooh, that would be insane. And then on new TLP, Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, 3 Wizards again, and Paladin, Cleric, Enchanter with 3 Magicians. That might be just really easy to box. Maybe, see, I just like would feel like I need to actually put like a Bard in there though. I could do the Enchanter and not have a Shaman. But you see, you almost have to add a Shaman in if you're gonna be doing like, if you're gonna have your group doing raid targets later on, you almost have to have a Shaman. So I think what I've been doing is I treat the Enchanter as DPS. So I just kind of move the Enchanter to one of those wizard spots, say for that top one, and I'd add a Shaman in there. And then I'd probably add a Bard, so it'd be Warrior, Cleric, Shaman, Bard, Wizard, Enchanter. If you like casters, I think the only benefit to that is if you're in, I mean, if you have like crappy gear, I think wizards are pretty good suggestions. But if you're actually like chain moving and fighting, like the wizard's just gonna run way out of mana. That's where the melee will like kind of, because of their sustain, they'll all do a wizard any day of the week, especially early on. The magician is interesting as long as you're not fighting anything with mitigation of the mighty. That would be pretty decent setup there with 3 mages, but I think that if you had 3 mages, a 6-box, you're pretty much going to be asking for the report. But it does keep it easier because even when you start doing your research spells and other stuff, you can buy like duplicate spells, duplicate setups. I mean, I really like that idea of having not a whole lot of things to do, because it really does, especially early on before they have the plane of knowledge and all the spells and stuff like that, it really does get too intense to have to run to every fucking spell vendor or Guildmaster back to the home cities, and you gotta find your way back. And that's why I always end up having a wizard or a druid in my damn group. I can go pick these guys up and bring them back and get them the same bind points. So the less you have to do, the better. I think when I play on Oakland, what I'll probably do is just make like 6 humans or 6 halflings or some crap like that is what I'll end up doing. I might even just mess around on this server and do like something just random where I have like a tank healer and like 4 druids or some stupid shit and just dot in the crap, or Something weird like that. 4 wizards or something would be cool. 4 mages, and just hurry up and level. I don't know what I would do with those classes. See, that's the thing. Like, you could use these groups to level up, but like, are you really gonna keep them full time? Like, if you're gonna run a 6 box, you can't like do like the 6-man raids and stuff like that with like a warrior, cleric, enchanter, and 3 wizards. You need a shaman. You probably want a bard for resist, especially early on before gear's available. And because this isn't like a free trade random loot server, you're going to be really limited on gear, which means your resists are going to suck, your stats are going to suck. So like the bard is going to be like essential if you try to do anything hard in the game, because you're really going to need those resists. And that's also the same, that also holds true for shaman and cleric. You need those big HP buffs, those stat buffs. You're going to need all that crap. This, I think Oakland's going to be a lot different of a setup or a startup than when you're playing on, say, something like Mischief. So just keep that in mind, that you do not have access to gear. And even if you're in raiding guilds, most likely not going to be able to take all your characters to the raid. I mean, later on, you'll be able to get them some good gear. It's always helpful to get like a tank in a raid and a healer. So if you have like a main character and a backup character and you're going to start raiding, always get like the tank and the healer, because those two can keep a fight going on for a very long time, and that will help you get gear for your other characters to do harder stuff, especially the tank. Because, you know, if you have a well geared out wizard, it doesn't matter how much damage you deal if your tank's getting smacked down and dies in the first 10 seconds of a fight. Just thought that'd be kind of interesting to see what ChatGPT AI says about EverQuest 1, what it knows. Let's just ask it one more question before we're done. What's the best way to farm Chrono in EverQuest 1 on a new TLP? See if it knows what to do there. High level solo farming. As you progress to higher levels, you can farm high value items. That's like so generic. Group farming, trade skill professions, farming rare spawns. Like, this is basic bitch stuff. Can you give me specific examples of what to do or farm? Sebless crypt loot farming, popular farming spot. Target specific name mobs like Trakton or Veneral Sathir for rare drops. What the hell are you even talking about? A hole, Shrelak pack, or flowing black silk sash in the hole. Belk's Lab, Frostbringer weapon, and high-level trade skills. In the original content for EverQuest 1 on a new TLP, what items specifically can I farm for platinum? Fine steel weapons, I've heard that before. Cultural armor components. Hill Giant Toes and Wrath Mountains. Hill Giants and Frontier Mountains. It doesn't even know that those zones aren't in the original. So you can kind of see here, you can go here and mess around and, you know, just play around. If you're like stuck and you need like help, like you could do something like, can you randomly pick 6 characters for me to play at the same time on a new TLP? So here's random. Oh, it's even give human warrior, high elf enchanter, dwarf cleric, wood elf ranger, halfling druid, and a erudite necromancer. So maybe at some point I'll just do a random like this, and then whatever it says I'll just make, and then I'll see how far I can make it or how well it's played out, just for shits and giggles, you know. But yeah, that's AI as far as EverQuest is concerned, and you can see it's not even close to understanding like what actually happens in EverQuest. It got kind of close. It understands basic concepts and has some basic ideas. It's limited to information up to 2021, and there's a lot of good content that came after 2021. However, it still just doesn't actually understand the game. It's kind of going, probably reading stuff that's out there which could be bad, and kind of trying to do the research and put it together, but you can see it's just a little bit off, and by a little bit off, that can be a lot off. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. We got P99, we got TLP, we got private servers and test that's free. Some of us pay, some of us don't, some of us play, some of us won't. Did you just break my mess? Did you just train me? Did you just miss a healing? Are you gonna rest me? And please I need a sow, and please I need a rest. Please I need that sword, I'll take what you got.